Good evening, and thank you for joining us for tonight's webinar called You've Been Admitted, Now What? Before we jump into tonight's presentation, we would like to give our attendees a minute or two to join us. There will be brief silence while we wait. Thank you. Hello and good evening. My name is Ricky Hill, and I am the e-recruiter at the University of California, Merced. I'll be serving as your moderator tonight. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's presentation of You've Been Admitted, Now What? Let's go over a few housekeeping items before we get started. Number one, to change your volume, you can use the audio settings in the lower left corner of your screen. You can click the button and a dialog box will appear on your screen. Make the adjustments as needed. Next, if you'd like to raise your hand, click on the hand icon at the bottom of your screen and it will turn green. You can select it again to lower your hand. Next, we will review how you can ask questions in the Q&A panel. Select the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Type a question into the box and click send. Lastly, there is a link at the top of the screen that allows you to adjust the size of your window. Just click on View Options. Please note that our webinars are recorded and we do make those available for you for the future reference. At this time, I would like to hand this over to our guest speaker tonight. Juan Carlos?
Good evening, excuse me. Good evening, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. And first of all, congratulations that you've been admitted to UC Merced. Before we get started, keep in mind that you're allowed to ask questions throughout the whole presentations. We want to encourage you to do that because there's some great information that we want to give you in thinking about what you need to do next in order for you to continue on to this journey, going into the University of California, Merced. Now, a lot of you who maybe question or have concerns in regards as to where UC Merced is at, next slide please. You're going to see that one of the things I want to tell you is that we are in the heart of California, right in the Central Valley. A lot of times people always say, well, what is there to do around UC Merced? One of the things I tell students in regards to everything else, UC Merced is in the middle of everything. When you have San Francisco, you have San Jose, you have Monterey Bay, you have Santa Cruz, Sacramento, and Yosemite. And it's within the driving distance. One of the things that I want to make sure that you understand that our campus wants to maintain its identity as to who we are and where we're heading as far as our university is concerned. Next slide, please. For doing that, we want to give you an idea as to why the University of California, Merced is a great place for you to get your education. We would also like to maintain that our campus, as I mentioned to you earlier, we want to keep some of those ideas and philosophies that remain true to the University of California while being a student at UC Merced. Doing so, next slide please, you're going to see that our campus is very diverse. As you see here on the chart here, you're going to see that there's the population itself is well divided into a lot of range of individuals from all walks of life, which makes our university unique in many ways of our students. Our students this past year, 73.2% were admitted to our campus, and you're part of that group, okay? And then when you look at our colleges on our campus, from the College of Engineering to the College of Humanities, the College of Science, and Undeclared. And if you notice this, that 43% of our students are in the College of Humanities. But then again, when you look at other campuses, the majority of the students who attend any given university, you're going to see the majority of the students are in the humanities. While if you think about our population in engineering, and the sciences. Why engineering? If you think about what UC Merced is all about, not only do we have these great colleges on our campus, but think about how the engineer itself has helped a lot of individuals. And as we grow as a campus, right now we stand as 8,151, and we want to continue that growth. We are the smallest campus in the UC system, and we are the youngest campus. We're going to be 15 years old. So in regards to everything else, we are teenagers. Keep that in mind. Next slide, please. In that, we always think about where UC Merced is heading. If you think about this slide here, this is what UC Merced is going to look like in this actually this summer, because we are completing, or they are completing, all the buildings that you see here. But in that, we're going to have more wet laboratories, Center for Biomedical Science, competitive swimming pool, and 2 additional residence halls, again, to meet the needs of the students who come to our campus. Going back to the idea that, UC Merced, yes, we're in the middle of Central California, but also keep in mind that because we're in the middle of Central California, keep this in mind. I'm not going to lie and say to you, we are surrounded by a lot of agriculture. That agriculture actually helps the university itself. Going back to the majors, the science majors and the engineers, that helps individuals be involved in all the surroundings around that. Eventually, the campus itself, as it continues to grow, we think about the students who've been admitted this year. We think about where they're going. They're going to be the pioneers. They're going to be the stepping stone to a lot of students who follow them behind. So in order for you to keep updated or informed in regards to what's happening on our campus, first of all, next slide, please. We want you to start thinking about this. You need to create a student account with UC Merced. This is where you're going to get a lot of the information that you need that's important to you, okay? You're going to get not only, since some of you probably already got that, you already probably did this format. And this is a good way for you to actually also stay in contact with UC Merced. Because a lot of times there's information that goes out to you, and sometimes you don't have time to look at your emails or your personal email accounts. So this is a good way for you to get access to all that information. Next slide, please. So how do you claim your account? And again, I think a lot of you already done this. You include all this information that is asked of you, and then you go from there and you submit it. And then hopefully you'll have access to all this great information that you need for you as a student, okay? Now, again, next slide, please. Going back to the idea, why is this an important part of the process? Think of it this. The portal for UC Merced and the students who attend UC Merced, this is where everything's at. You're going to get access to any of your messages that we send you. You're going to have access to any orientation, any upcoming events. You also will continue on with this portal throughout your career at UC Merced. This is where you register for classes. This is where you also get your financial aid. So it's very important that a lot of you have created an account in order for you to get access to all the information that you need in order to move forward in regards to your admissions to UC Merced. Okay, and that's very important to us in regards to all that. Okay, so the portal does become the key factor in your success in the process of going through being admitted and continue with admissions. Be mindful that a lot of times when you ask a question or you have a question in regards to maybe reporting grades or maybe telling us about a change of schedule, especially your semester, this is where you basically have contact with our office. And our office will basically try to give you as much information as possible so that you will have an easier access. So next slide. And this is what a lot of the messaging will look like. And when you finish certain components of the admissions process, a lot of them will have a check off, meaning that you've completed with that, and some of them will not have that. One of the things that you will see on here that and I don't want you to get or panic is one of the things that because you are looking at your checklist here, one of the things that you'll see here that's not going to be completed, just to give you a heads up, will be your transcripts. So don't panic in regards to maybe you probably send them in. It takes a while to process those transcripts, so give us some time so that we'll be able to process that and put it in the system. And the reason why we will do that is because we want to make sure that we double check any your grades that you put into your application to make sure that we verified all the courses you've taken. So it does take time. So when you do submit your transcripts to us, don't panic, because it does take a while, about 2 to 3 weeks, to process your transcripts into the system, indicating that you have completed that portion of that. But other than that, you're going to have access to your financial aid information. You're going to have access to your housing. You're going to have information to your courses and all this other stuff that you need in order to be ready for that next level or the next step of your education. Okay, so keep that in mind. So in order for us to make sure that we continue with having this information or giving you this information, next slide, please. Make sure that all of your contact is current, okay, telephone numbers, because a lot of times what law students do, and we're hoping that you start utilizing the UC Merced account, your UC Merced email, to contact us, because a lot of times if you're using a high school email, sometimes that email might close at the end of when you graduate, and then there's no way for us to contact you directly. So again, going back to the idea that everything will be there, and utilizing the UC Merced email becomes better for you to use and utilize in this process. For example, I had a student that basically emailed me today that they moved homes, and he was very worried that he was not going to get his email because he moved. But because we got his new address, everything should be good to go. But the safer bet would be basically for you as a student is to make sure that we have all current information, and that current information is on file, including phone numbers, because a lot of times a lot of students decide to get their own phone numbers and they decide to just basically do that. Again, these are important for us because we want to make sure that if there's any reason for us to try to contact you, we have the updated information. Okay, next slide, please. One of the huge factors in the process of what you need to do in order for you to continue your admissions is you have to understand your provisions of admissions. Keep in mind, you've been offered admissions to UC Merced, but it's a conditional admissions, meaning that in order for you to be admitted, you must do all these, okay? You must pass your classes with your C or better, okay? You must you must report all deficient grades. Deficient grades means anything lower than the C. You must submit all of your SATs or SATs, your official ones, and you must submit all of your transcripts, your high school. And if you're going to a community college, we also need those college transcripts in order for us to provide you with the credit that you need in order for that to continue. Because a lot of you who take additional courses outside of your high school, like a community college, you want to make sure you get credit for those courses so that you'll be placed in the right courses as you get ready to start your career at UC Merced. Okay, but reviewing these, it's very important that you do that. The conditions of admissions is very important that you understand what they mean and how they apply to you. Okay, sometimes some students might have an extra information on the admissions, on the conditions of admissions. Maybe they might state on there that, hey, listen, you need to pass your English, you need to pass your math, or you need to do X, Y, and Z. Those are very important for you to really acknowledge and understand what they mean to you so that you'll be able to continue with admissions. Okay, so with that said, next slide. Be mindful that a lot of you have until May 1st to make that decision, okay? We hope that you consider UC Merced. We hope that you become part of the BOBCAT family, because we do encourage you that UC Merced can provide you with a lot of great things. So what about UC Merced? What does it offer you as an individual? And what does it stand in the world in regards to the UC system? Keep in mind that UC Merced is part of the UC family. Again, we're the baby of the whole campuses. But just because we're the baby, it doesn't mean we don't offer a lot of things. As a matter of fact, we have the same resources that any other university does within the UC system. We offer the same opportunities, but at a smaller scale. What do I mean by that? For students who come to our campus, you're going to experience a small classroom setting. You're going to experience the idea of having classes with the professors that you get to know who you are. You have the experience to do research as early as your first year, and you get to meet friends because you live so close to each other. Okay, next slide. So having said that, our excellence in our academics and what we do and how people or institutions see our institution, how we view ourselves in regards to where we've been. And keep in mind, for the past 15 years, UC Merced has made a lot of strides. Okay, being known as the best public university in the nation for not only that, but because of the cost. Recognized as being number 4 among all U.S. universities, okay, and then being the University of the Year in 2018. These are very important to us, but what makes UC Merced so unique. But what happens also with the campus itself, we do offer a lot of opportunities. Next slide. Why do we have these concepts available, or concepts? It's because we have the innovative technology. One of the great factors about our campus is that all the facilities, all the research that we do on our campus, and all the stuff that we use for research, it's all brand new. It's innovative technology. It's up to date technology. The nanotechnology that we utilize that. And to do interdisciplinary research, what does that mean? Individuals who basically, for example, let's say you're a business major in management, but you were interested in science, you could actually find yourself doing research in science. I had students who've done that in the past where they're doing business, but they want to go into the health profession. And a lot of times they would say, well, I want to know what the health profession is like with a business degree. And students have that experience. What makes it easier is that, again, going back to the idea that our students, about 67%, are doing research on our campus. And it's available to all of you as a student who attends UC Merced. But the one thing that I would like to say about our campus is our sustainability. Our campus is green. Our campus is resourceful. Our campus is basically runs on solar energy. Think about that for a minute. UC Merced is a campus that is looking at the future and thinking of how it's going to help individuals live better lives. And this is what we're doing. We're looking for individuals who are going to make a difference on our campus, and how you can make a difference on our campus by becoming that researcher, by becoming the innovator. I always like to think that students who attend UC Merced, we inspire your passion. And when students are inspired by the passion, they decide to go and do something different than what they intended major to be when they started our campus. In that, we have a lot of resources and support systems that's going to help our students be successful on our campus. Next slide. In that, we have these organizations on our campus that's going to help you get involved, help you be more in tune with what is going on our campus. For example, we do have a relationship with Yosemite. For those of you who do not know, Yosemite is actually a very beautiful national park that it's about an hour away from UC Merced. And a lot of the students who want to go out and explore our surroundings have access to Yosemite. In that, we have a research facility at Yosemite along the way. We also have a leadership program that allows students to be part of that. Again, if this is your thing, if you like hiking, you like camping, you like nature walks, Yosemite will be the place for you. But then again, in the springtime, a lot of students will have an opportunity to go check out Shakespeare in the Park at Yosemite. So as a campus, we try to give you a balance in regards to what you can do on our campus and away from campus. Okay, next slide. One of the important factors in deciding the campus that you're looking at is understanding your financial aid package. Okay, understanding your financial aid package is crucial to making those tough decisions, and how our campus is going to help you in regards to getting your education financed in regards to that. Okay, but it's very important that a lot of you, when you go into the financial aid aspect or the financial aid site on your portal, is you understand the money that's been given to you and how that money is going to be utilized in paying for your schooling. Keep in mind also that when you receive either grants, scholarships, or any type of funding from loans or work study, it is up to you to select if you accept those awards or not. If you are offered loans, again, the best thing to do is talk to your parents, sit down, look at the numbers, and think about how these numbers are going to help you make that decision. Just know this, that our students that attend UC Merced by far have the best financial aid packages anywhere else in the UC system. So we do offer those kinds of great things on our campus, okay? So one of the things that a lot of you should always think about this is that when you look at the university, you think about, okay, this is my total cost, okay? What am I getting from the university itself? Next slide, please. And by doing so, you're gonna start questioning yourself, is that, okay, what am I receiving from the university, and what is my final price? When a lot of you start thinking that the University of California is very expensive in regards to the cost of attendance and how much is going to cost you to attend a UC, think about this. At UC Merced, we do a very good job in giving you a breakdown. Next slide. So if you want to compare us to other institutions, like for example, the Cal States, think about this. Now, tuition itself, the average cost of attending a UC is about $36,000 a year, okay? And if you want to compare that to the CSUs, you're looking about $21,000. And that's a total difference. I mean, that is a huge difference. However, one of the things I want you to reassure you is that just because we're a little bit more expensive, it doesn't mean that the financial aid will meet your needs on a campus, and it will. UC Merced is dedicated to making sure that our students who attend our campus have access to the resources in order for them to be successful on our campus without thinking about and worrying about the cost of attendance to our campus. That is a huge factor for us. So if you think about tuition itself at $12,570, and you look at the fees and you look at the books and supplies, room and board, and this is just an average cost of two people per room. Now, if you have more students living in one dormitory, then the cost of living on campus is actually less. Your transportation that goes to either way, am I going to ride a skateboard, am I ride the bus, or whatever it may be. And then personal expenses such as maybe you need clothes, you need toiletries or anything like that. One of the things that we tell students that they could save money on is that if you have health insurance. If your parents have health insurance and you're under the health insurance, you could actually save money under that. But you have to go to the health center to making sure that you get that away from our campus. And there's certain things you have to do that in regards to that, okay? Now, as far as gift aid, think about this for a minute. We're looking at Pell Grant, you're looking at Cal Grant, you're looking at the BOBCAT grant for those who receive it. And of course, if you get waived the health insurance, if you compare that to us and them, think about that. You still save a lot more money attending a UC campus. And that's one of the things that we want to reassure you is that just because we cost a little bit more, it doesn't mean that you're going to be spending more or getting more out of your own pocket. It's not. It's a matter of you understanding your financial aid. And when in doubt, once you speak to your parents, you always have access to talk to your financial aid officer on our campus. We want to make sure that you have access to us, make sure that you understand your financial aid package so that you can make the reasonable or make the right decision for you to come to UC Merced. And we like to think that we do offer that, and our students by far do have that. There's other ways for you to receive money from our campus. Next slide, please. If you are a student who has, for example, it's a high achiever and has some good grades, it is possible for you to receive a grant from our campus up to $7,000 that we give you because you're academically strong. But we have another one. We have a guaranteed minimum award for the FIAT Scholar Pilot Program. These are for first-generation freshmen living on campus. And by the way, living on campus does provide with a little bit more security on your financial aid than living off campus. And I'm going to get into that living off campus and on campus down later. But for now, let's worry about this. So this is something that I want you to understand. Now, a lot of you have probably heard about the Blue and Gold program that the University of California offers. That is a true program. If your family income is less than $80,000, your tuition and fees will be covered by the University of California, okay? Now, having said that, keep in mind that a lot of you would say, well, I'm getting Cal Grant and I'm getting the Blue and Gold. They don't basically, you don't get both of them. You get either one or the other. It always depends which number is the biggest that you're getting from either side. And that's very important for us, for you to have that so that you'll be able, again, going back to the idea, you really need to think about and study your financial aid package and make that decision in regards to whether our campus is giving you a good financial aid package. And I like to think that UC Merced does provide you with the best service in regards to financial aid. In regards to that. But if you get selected for this FIAT Scholar Pilot Program, forget about the money, it's more than that. One of the things that you think about is this. Not only are you going to create friendships through this FIAT Lux program, you also get a lot of personal attention from the individuals involved with this. You get to meet friends. That's more powerful than just getting the financial part of this program. And that's very important to us. But then going back to the whole campus itself, UC Merced is about giving you opportunities, giving you access to all the good things that we offer our students, and eventually graduate within a reasonable time. And UC Merced does graduate our students within a reasonable time, within 4.5 years, meaning that you can graduate from the University of California, Merced within 4 years. As long as you follow your plan in your program, you can do that. And one of the things that I always tell students, as an incoming first year or freshman in this sense, is that taking advantage of the resources and opportunities that are for you on campus. That's one of the biggest mistakes a lot of students make when attending a university. You might be a high achiever in your campus, which is fantastic. And there's nothing wrong for you to be a high achiever on your campus. And there's nothing wrong for you when you're feeling like you're not understanding certain concepts. it's always important for you to ask for help. And that's one of the biggest problems a lot of students are afraid to ask. Our campus is friendly enough that's going to help you and assist you in thinking that you are the most important part of our campus. UC Merced is a home away from home. So think about those kinds of things as a university as you grow, and you think about how we provide you with the services so that you'll be able to graduate within reasonable time. Okay. Another thing you should be aware of, next slide please, is the statement of legal residence. Some of you will be asked for you to fill this out. Please fill this out. This is just basically to make sure that we charge you in-state tuition if you're a California resident. We want to make sure that for those of you who are part of DACA or the AB 540s or anything like that, we want to make sure that we provide you with the same amount of cost of being a state resident in California. So make sure that you fill this out because we want to make sure that we charge you accordingly. If you are part of if you're an AB 540 student or DACA, make sure that you submit your affidavit from your AB 540 along with a transcript to the registrar. Again, a lot of you who are part of that group who maybe are AB 540 or DACA, be mindful that when you get and this is very important, when a lot of you get your letter of financial aid, it might seem like a lot of money, but because we're actually, the financial aid is identifying you as an international student at the moment or out-of-state student. But if you're a resident of California and you're AB 540 student or DACA, as soon as we get the affidavit from you, your cost was going to go down to what it reflects because you're a California resident. So don't panic. We do have that every year where students really do panic in regards to thinking about, oh my God, I'm going to be spending so much money in tuition. Don't panic. Just make sure you get the affidavit. And if you have no idea where to get that, go to AB 540 affidavit. It's online, or ask your counselors at your school. They usually have access to those documents so that can help you. If still can't get those from your school, you could always reach out to us, and we'll provide you with that as well. But keep in mind that your deadline to submit the state of legal residence is May 5th of this year. Make sure that you submit this form so that we can charge you the appropriate cost of attendance to UC Merced. Okay. So everything that I've mentioned to you from thinking about the resources and how your portal becomes your friend throughout this process, the portal does really become your friend and your second hand in regards to all the information that you're going to need and support that you're going to be asking for in order for you to move forward through the admissions process. Okay. And again, if our office or any office has a question in regards to your account or to your status, it is best for you to always check your portal for that information so that you'll be able to get your answers to us. Okay. So now as we go through housing, next slide, please. One of the cool factors about UC Merced, and a lot of you who might not know this, UC Merced, as I mentioned to you, we're about 15 years old. What does that mean for our housing? Our housing is actually very, very new. As a matter of fact, our oldest building on our campus was built, I believe, is in 2008. So that's pretty old. And then we're opening up two brand new residents this fall. We opened up 2 new residents last fall. We're going to open up 2 more, again, to accommodate the growth of our campus. One of the cool things about UC Merced, our goal is to have at least 10,000 students on our campus. We could accommodate more, but we choose not to do so. And there's a reason for that. We want to make sure that we have the resources and the support systems for every student who is a student on our campus. Okay. So one of the residents that opened up last year, next slide, please, is this one. Okay. This is actually an awesome site because there's a couple of things that you want to know about these 2 dorms. Opened up last fall. Anything from the 2nd floor up is all your dormitories in both sides. On the 1st floor, there's a couple of things you want to look at. We have academic classrooms, we have stores, and we have plenty of space for you to actually have fun on the 1st floor. And remember that slide that I showed at the beginning of the water and the pond there? This is right in front of that. So one of the things about our buildings, another thing about our dormitories, they're considered to be smart buildings. What does that mean? Smart buildings are essentially when they're not being utilized by any given population or people, it basically shuts down to conserve energy. And again, going to the idea of how is UC Merced going to help you and think about how you're going to be exposed to a lot of opportunities. And one of the opportunities a lot of you are planning to do when you enter the university is maybe some of you want to study abroad. Some of you want to do maybe what we call the UCDC/Sacramento Center internships. This would allow you as an individual to go to a different country and study abroad. A lot of my colleagues in the office have done this. So, and this is a good exposure. I've done it. This is a good exposure for you to learn from other communities, a lot of the cultures, other cities around the world, while getting credit for your program and graduate within reasonable time. Doing the UCDC or the Sacramento Center program, this is an internship for individuals who do internships either in Washington, D.C. or in Sacramento. And keep in mind that you don't necessarily have to be a political science major. You just have to want to do this. And the awesome part about going to a study abroad program or doing the UCDC or the Sacramento Center program is that you're going to be housed with other UC students. In other words, you might be roommating with somebody from Santa Barbara or Berkeley or UCLA or Riverside or San Diego. That's the benefit and the beauty about being part of the UC family. As a UC Merced student, you have access to all the UCs, and that's another program that I want to cover. The program that I want to cover is called Inter-Campus Visitor Program. The Inter-Campus Visitor Program allows individuals, okay, to take a term at any given UC campus. Now, granted, you're not allowed to stay there, but you're allowed to be exposed to any other campus. If, let's say, for example, you have a friend that's at Santa Barbara, and they say, hey, I want to come to UC Merced, you see what life is like at UC Merced. They could actually come to our campus and take a term there. And that's the fun part about being part of the UC system. You're allowed to be exposed to as many opportunities as you want as a UC Merced student, okay? And what's in front of this? Next slide, please. This is what you're going to be for those individuals who live in these dorms. The one drawback from this, and this is the only thing that I always think about living in these dorms. So, as I mentioned to you, the first floor, you have classes, you have stores, and you have other clubs that are going to be down there and services that you're going to have on the first floor. The second floor up is all your dormitories, okay? But the one thing that's going to happen if you live facing the water here is at nighttime, this glows. So all the light might come in through the window. You might not like all the light because you want to go to sleep. So that's the only drawback. But other than that, every morning you wake up to that pond and you look at that and he says, and keep in mind that this is part of the original landscape of UC Merced. UC Merced was built on top of a golf course. And this is something that we want to maintain and keep as a historical landmark for our campus. Next slide, please. Okay. Now, if you think about, hey, how's your dormitories and how big are they and is there enough space? Believe it or not, some of our dorms are very roomy. Some of them really have some high ceilings. And it all depends how many students live per room, okay? You could have maybe 2 roommates or 4 roommates into a dormitory. I think the more the merrier, and then again, the cheaper it is for you to live on campus as well. And that's another thing that I want to make sure that you understand. At UC Merced, all students who attend UC Merced must live on campus within the first 2 years, okay? Now, there is a rule in regards to how far can you live from campus to not live on campus. But I do encourage you to live on campus for a couple of reasons. First of all, studies have shown that students who live on campus have greater success. I'm not saying students that don't live on campus do not. Second, all the resources for your success are on campus. All the people that you meet are on campus. And then you have learning communities within the dormitories. Learning communities are basically based on your interests or your education goal within the campus itself. Next slide, please. So after you submit your CERM, you got to wait 24 hours. Then you submit your housing interest. One of the things that we want to make sure that you do when you do fill out the application is that you make sure that you're honest on the application. If you're the type of person that wants a quiet person, a non-smoker, a clean person, organized, somebody that likes or balance, somebody that balance their academics and they like to do things, like to be involved socially, make sure that you're honest on that application. Because what we're doing here is we're trying to match you with the right person to live with you. Okay, now granted, if you have your friends that are going to UC Merced, there's a possibility for you to live with that friend. But I always encourage individuals not to live with friends. And the reason for that is because what happens a lot of times, it happened to me my first year, you don't become friends anymore because maybe your habits are a little bit different than your other roommate, your friend. We want you to experience what college life is like. And by doing so, having different types of roommates, that's always good. Or do the same thing. One of my good friends, she has twins, and they both went to the same university. They don't live together. They live apart. They live with different roommates. That makes the experience even more so for anybody who attends our campus. Again, our campus is small enough. Our campus is very friendly to all those individuals who attend UC Merced. Okay. Now, next slide. Again, giving you another perspective of what our campus and the academic walk features: classrooms and meeting space on the ground floor, and 1,700 students beds on the upper levels. Again, we want to make sure that we provide you with the resources and the support in order for you to be successful on our campus. Okay. Now, one of the things that once you SIR, or student intent to register, for May 1st, that's the first thing they have to do. Once you've done that, once you submit your application for room and board, then the next thing you need to do, next slide please, is register for classes. Okay. Now, the communication will be sent from your advisor by June. You will receive a list of resources, course registration, and register for classes using my registration in your student portal. This is very important that you take care of this. And the reason for that is because we want to make sure that you are guided and make sure that you take the right courses in the beginning of the year. Next slide, please. But at the same time, we do encourage you that you attend our orientation, summer orientation on our campus. And the sessions are held between June 23rd to July 25th. You sign up for whatever day you want to come. It's a good way for you, especially if you hadn't had a chance to visit our campus, for you to be exposed to all the resources on campus. And this is a good way for your parents to come up and experience UC Merced with you. And not only that, you get to see and maybe speak to some people who are continuing going to UC Merced or are UC Merced students. But also at the same time, you get to meet your professors and advisors. And some of you, believe it or not, will be selected. Hopefully, if you want to come to summer school, you could actually do that as well and experience that on our campus as you go forward in regards to your education. Okay. Now, in order for us to make sure that we provide you with the right resources and support in regards to looking at our campus and looking to see how we could facilitate your interests and the process of you looking at our campus as a possible campus of choice, we do have a lot of things going on in the springtime. Next slide, please. Instead of you coming to our campus, we're going to come to you and your community. Okay. So keep in mind that these are the dates that you want to keep in mind. Next slide, please. So we're going to have what we call admit receptions throughout the state of California, and they're going to start March 25th. If you're part of the Modesto area, it's going to be held at the Martin G. Peterson Event Center on March 25th from 7 to 9. So you also need to register for that reception. This is where we encourage you to bring your grandmas, your uncles, your mom and dad, your abuelitas, or whoever it may be to kind of see and help you in the process. We believe that when you become a UC Merced student, your whole family becomes a UC Merced student. And on March 28th, we have it at the Sheraton Grand Sacramento Hotel from 1 to 3. Again, take note of this if you're in the Sacramento area. And then followed by Sunday, March 29th, at the Santa Clara Convention Center. Okay, this is the address, and that's 1 for 3. On Saturday, April 4th, at the Hilton Anaheim, if you live here in Southern California, that'll be held there from 1 to 3. And then on Sunday, April the 5th, in Universal Studios at the Hilton in Los Angeles from 1 to 3. Okay, this is where we're going to bring, not only do we bring the staff from UC Merced, you're going to meet financial aid advisors. You're going to meet a lot of the programs that we offer here on our campus and the support systems that we have. And you're going to meet some of the admissions advisors that basically they went through the process with you in regards to admitting you to the campus. But most of all, you're going to meet most of our family and the directors of our campus. So you can see that what we do have to offer at UC Merced. Okay. But the biggest day for us that we encourage a lot of you to sign up for, next slide please, is BOBCAT Day. Okay. Again, this is an on-campus event that we hope to bring you to come to see our facilities, come and talk to our students, come and check out our programs, maybe speak to some of the housing and dining, to financial aid, speak to some of the athletics if you're interested in being an athlete on our campus, and also take a tour of the campus and see the new facilities and the new buildings that we have on our campus. So make sure that you put this on your calendar. Saturday, April 18th will be BOBCAT Day. It's a whole day event. Do register at BOBCAT Day at .ucmerced.edu so that you'll be able to join us on that day. And again, you're going to meet all of us there, all of the staff from admissions to the housing to athletics to any programs or clubs and organizations of the 200 plus clubs that we have on our campus. They're going to be there. And you might see some professors here and there that you're going to actually talk to on our campus. And guess what? You also get to check out our new lecture hall, which houses about 300 students. It's a state-of-the-art lecture hall. It's a beautiful place, and I do encourage you to come and visit us April the 18th. Okay. Now, we do have other events going on. Next slide, please. We do have other events going on throughout March and through April. You take campus tours. You could sit on a lecture. You could meet current students. If you want to do that, you go through to our links here, and you expose yourself to that. Now, if you notice that picture there of the housing there, keep in mind that on your to my left or to your right, whichever you want to look at it, you see that there's actually now buildings there. So don't worry. We have, again, our campus is growing and making sure that we have a lot of the new buildings. So you can see that maybe on BOBCAT Day, or maybe if you go through April 3rd, we have events going on our campus. So have that. And typically, next slide, you're going to see our students like a lecture hall. This is one of the oldest lecture halls. And again, if you look at a new lecture hall, it's actually much bigger than this. But this is what your typical classroom will look like. And this is where students can actually hook up to your computer. And there's a lot of great ways for you to connect to that. But this is what our campus looks like. Now, we also have other events. Next slide, please. April 7th to the 23rd in UC Merced, we do have an overnight program. You can visit classes with student hosts, meet with current students, experience residential life, attend on-campus activities and events. You must register at admitted.ucmerced.edu/events. This is a good way for you to kind of get a feeling as to what will life be like as a college student. And because once you become part of this program, the overnight program, you will experience everything that student is doing. You go to class with them, whatever clubs they have to go to, or meetings have to go to, or events they have to go to, or when they go to lunch or breakfast or whatever it may be, you're going to be with them at all times. Basically, your personal tour in a sense, or what life will be like on our campus. Another date that you want to put in your calendar, next slide please, is Spotlight UC Merced, Saturday, April 25th. We focus on events for first year focus. In other words, first year for us is our freshmen. You explore campus again, speak with admissions and financial aid, again, meet current students. And that's one of the things that we want to make sure that you understand. I think the best information you can receive from any UC Merced family member is talking to a student, because they'll tell you the ins and outs, and they'll be honest with you. And for the most part, a lot of our students who attend UC Merced are very happy in regards to attending our campus. So that's something that you as an individual, you have the opportunities to do throughout all these events. You do have an option to talk to these students, ask them your questions. We're not afraid for you to ask them the question. We want you to make sure that you get the right information so that you can make the right decisions for yourself. Next slide, please. Now, a couple of things that you want to make sure that you really pay attention to, okay? And this is something that a lot of students need to pay attention to, because this is as soon as you SIR to our campus, okay? So it doesn't matter which UC campus, but May 1st is the signing date, okay? Your statement legal residence, and this happens every year. On the second Saturday of every May, each individual will have to take the analytical writing placement test, or exam in a sense. The only way to be exempt from this is several ways. One, if you basically received a 3 or better on your English AP exam, that's one. Or if you've taken an English course at the community college that's equivalent to English 101, okay, as long as it's transferable. But if you don't have those, or another way, your SAT with a 36 or better, if you don't have those, you must take your placement writing exam. Okay, you must sign up for this. If you're planning to take the AP English in the springtime and you say, I'm going to wait, don't do that. Sign up for the test, for the exam, and take it in May. Okay, you always want to cover your bases because we want to make sure that we place you on the right courses when you start your first year. Okay, that's one of the things we want to make sure that you do that. Then the next thing, for those of you too, also, if you're a science major or engineer, and some of the humanities majors do require for you to take the math placement test. It is up to you, the individual, to make sure and you understand and ask yourself the question, do I need to take the math placement test? Okay, that's the question. And the only way you're going to be exempt from that is, again, if you take an AP calculus and you received in 3 or better, that's one. Or if you're taking a college course that it's either a college level math, not your remedial math courses, has to be a college level math that's equivalent to that to be exempt from those things. But it's very important that a lot of you do ask that question, do I need to take the math placement test? This is where you become proactive in the process in regards to the admissions, okay? You need to ask those questions. You're going to become college students. It is time for you to start getting involved in that. And we do enjoy students who are involved in the whole process. We do enjoy students who are involved because of the fact that it makes us understand that we're doing something right and making sure that you do your thing on your end, okay? Again, that's very important for you to know. June 1st, again, housing is very important, and your preference in regards to who you put in your file in regards to who you want your roommate to be, that's going to be very, very important. And then, of course, mid-June, you're registered for courses. And July, official transcripts have to be postmarked on that day or before. They have to be postmarked by July 1st. For those of you who are taking AP courses and exams, or you're taking college courses, please submit a transcript if you want us to look at your courses so that we can apply the credit. But if you're still taking courses in the summertime, make sure that once you're done with your summer school, make sure you submit those transcripts, your fine transcripts, to our office to make sure that we do that. And then, of course, this is very important. In early August, you have to prove of your immunizations due. We want to make sure that every one of you on our campus is healthy and has all your shots. That's very important. Make sure that if you're going to get your health insurance waived, that has to be done by August 1st. And then, of course, you pay your tuition fees mid-August. And moving day for a lot of you seniors who are going to be first-time freshmen on our campus, or first time, is between August 23rd and 23rd. And then you start school on the 26th. Isn't that exciting? I'm excited for you. This is a milestone in your lives that you're going to be doing. And this is something that you need to start thinking about. This is the process that you have to go through. Make sure that these dates are embedded in your mind so that you'll be ready to start at UC Merced. We also have other opportunities, next slide, for you to come and visit our campus. Through our new Welcome Center, we do have tours Monday to Friday, some Saturdays. Make sure that you go to tours at ucmerced.edu and check out and kind of sign up and kind of cater your tour to your need. It's very important that you do that because we want to make sure that we address all your concerns and issues, okay? And finally, if you want to contact us, next slide, please. This is our contact information. Please don't hesitate to ask us. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. Make sure that you check us out. And keep in mind that the best success for you is for you to be involved and interact with the admissions process. When in doubt, always ask questions. We're here to help and assist you in every way we can so that your process and your way to UC Merced is a smooth transition. And when you come to UC Merced, your job is to get involved to make that transition an easy one for you to actually adjust to the campus. The best thing about our campus is that a lot of you are coming in from a semester system. We're on a semester system. And that will make your life a little bit better and easier for you. Okay. I want to thank you very much for attending tonight. We're going to answer some questions right now. And so let's answer some of those questions.
Hi everyone, this is Ricky, your e-recruiter and moderator. Just a real quick time check for everyone. It is about 6:51, so we have about 9 minutes left tonight, but go ahead and get those questions into us and we will go ahead and get them answered for you. Thanks. Back to you, Juan Carlos.
Okay, thank you. So the question is how big is UC Merced? Even though we're the smallest campus as far as, population-wise, it is said that our campus is going to be the largest UC campus in the UC system by 2040. That's what I heard, but I could be wrong on that. As far as acres is concerned, at this point, we are considered to be the largest in acres. But again, as far as the buildings and all that, we are still the smallest in that sense. And we're going to continue to grow as a campus, okay? The question is, what is SAP? I'm trying to understand your question on that, Destiny. Ashley or Laura, do you know what that is?
No.
Okay. Okay, here, the question is—
referring to the appeal process?
Is it the appeal process?
Maybe
No.
she can ask it again.
Okay. Destiny, can you ask that question again? I'm trying to understand your question. Arun asks, is there a cap on the amount of students who receive a certain grade class, says Merced? So keep in mind that like every campus, not necessarily a cap. I mean, your goal as a college student is to get the best grade possible, possibly an A+. But there's not necessarily a cap. If that's what I'm understanding, is there a cap in the amount of students who receive a certain grade in class at Merced? Or are you asking the question, how many classes can I take? That will depend based on how much you could handle, and that has to be approved by your academic advisor, okay? There's a question here in Spanish. Okay, so let me see if I can answer this. The question is, si es mi primer año, tengo que vivir allí o puedo vivir en mi casa? The question is, the person is asking is, do I have to live on campus or can I live in my house? Okay, so one of the things is that if you live within a certain radius of campus, you can live at home. But for the most part, students who live away, 49 miles away from campus, they have to live on campus. Okay, so that's the answer to that. So la contesta va a ser que si tú vives dentro un radius del campus, puedes vivir en tu casa, pero si no, si vives afuera de 49 millas, tienes que vivir en la universidad. Okay, so I hope I answered that question. So keep in mind that that's a very good question. A lot of students always ask, can I live off campus my first year? Unfortunately, we require that all incoming freshmen must live on campus. So that's very important to us. And again, going back to the idea that students become more successful and have all the resources available to them, and they have the learning communities, and you have your resident advisor that's going to give you advice, and you have organized sports and organized activities that's going to help you. Okay. So the next question I want to be answering is will the 2 new resident halls be open for freshmen, and can I apply for housing in the new residence hall? So that's a good question. So at this moment, what you're going to be having is that on your application for where you want to live, it should be listed on your application. But I'm not going to say you will be living on there, just making sure that whatever's on that list, that would allow you to actually live in that dormitory. Okay. Now the question is asking, can I double major in political science and human biology? How does this work? Okay. Keep in mind that if you want to double major, that is possible, but this is a conversation that you need to have with your academic advisor. If you're allowed to do a human biology, that will be up to the academic advisor to approve that. It doesn't become automatically it doesn't become automatically. It basically does tell you that once you get admitted to your major, then if you want to get double major into something else, again, this is a conversation you need to have with your academic advisor, but it is possible, okay? Question is, America's asking, is research limited to specific majors, or majors like public health can also? That is correct. Anybody who comes to our campus is allowed to do research. It's like getting a job. If you want to get a job, great. If you don't, that's perfectly fine when you're a college student. But doing research, it is up to you to kind of look into. We do have the undergraduate research website where you basically will look at all the research opportunities, and you get to select which research programs or opportunities you want to take advantage of. And again, just like a job, you apply to those to see if you're selected. If you're selected, basically that's the way you would handle that. Okay, so that's a good question, by the way, because a lot of students are worried about, can I do research? And some students do want to do research as early as your freshman year. Think about this for a minute. In many institutions around the country, around the state of California, students are not allowed to do research until the third year. At UC Merced, you're allowed to do research as early as your first year. That's awesome. Okay. There's a question: is it relatively difficult to switch majors in your first year? It all depends what major you're looking at. But for the most part, it is not difficult to switch majors as long as you have those conversations with your academic advisor, and it's actually you meet the requirements for that particular majors. Okay. Again, we're trying to make sure that we give you opportunities. And think about this for a minute. If you think about our majors, in every college we offer undeclared humanities, undeclared engineering, and undeclared science. So that's another way of looking at it. All right, so here's another question that is asking about local students. Do local Merced students have to live in the dorms the first year? No, but keep this in mind. If you live around UC Merced within a certain radius, you have to petition to live off campus. Okay, if and this is something you have to speak with housing to. Okay, about that you want to live off campus because your family lives within a certain miles from campus. You must talk to housings in order for them to give you all the forms for you to fill out so that you'll be able to get that opportunity. Okay, but if you're local, you don't necessarily have to live on campus. We do encourage you to live on campus, but if you feel like you don't want to, that's perfectly fine. Again, your job, if you live within the radius around UC Merced, your job is to make sure that you fill out all the forms so that you'll be able to be okay living off campus. Okay, that's the only thing that I'm going to ask you to do in regards to living off campus. And those for those of you who want to live off campus, and if you have family or your family lives around UC Merced, make sure you fill out those forms to make sure that you get those opportunities. So the question is how many students are from California? How many are out of state? How many are international? Good question. So one of the things that I will tell you is that 95% of our students, in our case, 90% of our students are from California, while the other 2% are either from out of state or out of the country. So we don't have a huge population. But the goal of the University of California, Merced, is to accept at least 90% of our students from California, while 10% could be international or out of state. So that's a good number. Again, we're dedicated to making sure that our students from California have the best opportunities, have the best resources so they could actually graduate with a reasonable time. Question: what is the tuition for international students? So one of the things that you want to look at is something that I'm going to refer to, is that if you look at our website, there is an out-of-state tuition for our students, and this is something that it's a little bit more than what you would expect for our students that are not residents of California, and that's something that you really need to think about our campus. Now, if you're out of state, for example, if you're part of, for example, let's say Oregon or Washington or Nevada, we do provide you with what we call the WUI. That means you get a discount in regards because you are a surrounding state that we're part of that program. So we do offer a discount towards those students. Okay, so going back to the cost of attendance to UC, it's a little bit more, above 60, 62, I believe, for tuition and all that. That's something that again, you're going to get that. So the question is what musical programs are offered at our Merced? At this point, we don't have a lot of, other than we have through our global arts program. Those become more like interdisciplinary arts. So everything is in there. You get involved with a lot of, for example, we have a great dance club at our campus, and they do compete every year. So we do have those. We do have theaters in the city of Merced that you could actually also experience with that. All right, this is a good question. This is for everybody. how can we check our financial aid offer? So all our financial aid offers will go out in April. Okay, so again, going back to the idea that you must have a portal in order for you to check your financial aid status or your financial aid award letter. And you'll see, again, through the portal, you'll see how much funding you'll be getting from our campus. And that's what we're looking at, okay? So it is 7 o'clock, and I want to thank all of you for joining us today. And I hope you have a wonderful evening, and consider UC Merced as a campus of choice. But also keep in mind that our staff is going out in the springtime to visit some of your schools. Please come by and say hello when we visit your schools, because we want to make sure that we give you more information in regards to that. And if you have more questions, again, that'll be a good time for you to come and visit with us when we do visit your campus. Thank you very much, and have a good night.
Hello, everyone. This is Ricky, your e-recruiter and moderator for tonight. On behalf of the University of California, Merced, and my colleagues who have been online with us tonight, Juan Carlos, Laura, and Ashley, we thank you so much for joining us. Please don't forget to take a look online for future live chats and webinars at the website admitted.ucmerced.edu/webinars. Again, that address is admitted.ucmerced.edu/webinars. You can also continue to follow us on social media for updates and insight for life at UC Merced. Go ahead and take a look or a screenshot of what you see on your screen now. It will give you all of the handles for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Once again, have a wonderful evening. Good night.